Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah.
And we're live. I love it. That's great.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Nonprofit Tech, right? Q&A. So Ed and I, who have been friends for like, what, 10, 12 years, something like that. We met a long time ago. Right?
And we still look good. We
Yeah,
still look
I know, right? Yeah. So Ed is into tech. And for those of you who don't know, I just don't do nonprofit. I also have a tech company where I help people to do automations and stuff. And one of the things is I work with a lot of nonprofits. Ed has worked with nonprofits and he works with a lot of realtors as well. And so we decided to team up and do a nonprofit tech series because we do find that there's a deficit in that area for people who are nonprofit organizations and getting the tech right, right? There's a lot of questions. Tech is constantly moving. Every time I turn around, there's something new to learn, and it's hard even for us to keep up, right? So we can only imagine with you running your nonprofit and stuff how hard it is. So we decided to do this series. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're probably stressed out when it comes to the tech piece of it because that's not your world and you're doing all the things. And then sometimes you feel like maybe you're failing at life because you can't get the tech down. And we get all those self-doubt moments, thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not smart enough. I can't do this. I'm too old. I don't know what
Mhm.
this is, like all the things, right? But like Tracy said, you have to realize this goes fast even in our world, and we're the ones in it all day long. So just know that what you're thinking and what you're going through is normal, and don't let that hold you back. I mean, that's how I got into my business in the first place. Was I didn't want anybody being held back by technology, and I saw it firsthand with my mom working the 40-hour work week, being at the job that you're supposed to have full time, being on a computer all day long for 8 hours. And yet, when she left that job, she couldn't use Google. She didn't know how. She didn't know how to use the tech because the job failed her. They didn't keep her up with tech, right? So that's why we're both so passionate. Tracy and I are so passionate about helping you with the tech piece of it and being able to leverage today's technology for good and making it easier for you and your staff, your team, whoever else is part of your organization,
Mhm.
and make it so that you can show up online, you can attract your audience, you can engage with them, and you can build a better, more impactful business.
Yep, absolutely. I had to laugh today in my other company. God, I have too many businesses. But in my other company, which is a staffing agent, one of the tools that we use is LastPass, right? Because everybody wants to protect their passwords. So it's an encrypted software and it's the best way to share passwords with people who are not you, right? Do you know we get pushback on that?
I would
They're like,
imagine.
no, I have all of my passwords written down on a piece of paper. So, yeah, I have all of my
Yep.
passwords written down on a piece of paper. I don't know about this LastPass thing. And we're like, LastPass is better than the piece of paper that you have all of your passwords written down on. And some people just cannot wrap their minds around that.
Yeah, it's so important. So when we start throwing out different tools in this live or whenever we're talking to any of you watching, just
Mhm.
keep in mind, take it and note it and do your research. But understand that something like LastPass is huge. Yes, there's
Mhm.
a small fee for it. It's a paid option. You could probably even look at any tool, not just LastPass, but any tool that you're thinking about getting, especially for your nonprofit.
Mhm.
Always ask if there's a nonprofit discount because a lot of these
Exactly.
organizations will tools, I should say,
Mhm.
will have options for special pricing for nonprofits.
Mhm.
But when you're thinking about LastPass, understand that it is as safe as your bank account. Like they're using the
Exactly.
same encryption for your bank account, right? That
Mhm.
notebook that you have underneath your desk that you
Uh-huh.
can't find half the time and you don't remember when you last updated that
Mhm.
password and username, or you hid it under contacts in your phone and you were like,
Mhm.
who did I put it under? And where are those contacts going? Like,
Right.
that's too much stress for you and
Mhm.
it's not reliable. Get something like LastPass. And by the
Mhm.
way, we're not affiliated with any of these things.
No, we're not.
We're just sharing what we know works both for ourselves and
Yes.
those who we work with.
Yeah. And LastPass is free for the most part, right?
Yes.
Unless you really need it for some, for everybody in your company. You
Yeah.
can use LastPass personally for free or even for your business up to a certain extent for free. So it's
Yeah.
a literally a free tool that you can use to share your passwords with other people and be safe. You can guarantee that your passwords are safe, you
Well,
know?
and what I love about it, I'm glad you brought this up because I don't know if most people know this, but when it comes to something like LastPass, you
Mhm.
can actually pay attention to who you shared the password with.
Yes.
This is so important for nonprofits,
Yes.
especially
Mhm,
because how many times have you shared the password with a volunteer or somebody who came in temporarily and
mhm.
left? And you're like,
Yes.
wait a minute, who did I give that password to?
Mhm,
When was the last time we changed this? Like, it helps you stay up to date and secure.
mhm,
That's a
mhm.
huge
Yeah, if I'm terminating an employee, all I do is go into LastPass and click a button, and they no longer have access to whatever it is that I gave them access to. I don't now need to log back into that particular software and change my password because I never shared my password with you, right? So it's
one.
just a click of a button, and now you don't have access anymore.
Yeah, it's so nice.
So
So I
yeah,
definitely
it's
have that.
mhm, mhm. Okay,
Yes.
so we have a few questions that I get often, and some people sent in because they couldn't make the live, but I guess they'll watch the replay.
Yeah.
So you want to go through a couple of them?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. So one is, what strategies can we implement to protect our organization's data from cyber threats?
Mm, such a good question. I mean, it
Mhm.
ties into what we were just talking about, having
Yes.
security around your passwords.
Mhm.
Also, to tap onto or touch on that piece again too, LastPass doesn't just have options for your passwords. Like you can secure notes in there,
Yes.
important documents, like all kinds of things. I mean, you can put
Mhm.
even your nonprofit uh, 501c copy of your
Designation letter and
yes,
everything in there.
exactly.
Yeah.
So keep
It's
that in
really
mind.
good too for just a segue
Yeah.
for estate planning, right?
Yeah.
So if you have your will, your testament, last will and testament, your living trust, all of those important things that you're like, oh my gosh, if the house catches on fire, it floods or whatever. And the same thing for your nonprofit or your business. You have your corporate binder, all of those legal documents that you want to make sure that if someone comes in and they're like, hey, can you show me XYZ? And if something happened to your office space, because we're plagued with a lot of natural disasters these days, you
Yes.
can encrypt it and have it secure in LastPass, where you can always have access to it as long as you remember your password.
Yes, exactly. There's still got to be a password there for sure.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
you do not remember your LastPass password, well, that's it for you because you can
Yeah.
never get back into that account. So,
Yes. But
yeah.
don't let that scare you. Trust us, it works. It will be fine. You'll get
Hmm.
in. But yes, so use something like that. You also want to make sure that you are using some kind of secure data storage, right? A lot of organizations use Google Drive,
Hmm.
and you can have different share options for your documents and your folders that allow certain people certain access to it, right?
Hmm.
So it's just keeping an eye on those types of things and also understanding that you want to have some kind of policy in place. Now, we're not legal, oh, at least I'm not legal expert here, so always put that
No, we're
disclaimer
not
out there.
giving legal
Yeah.
advice, but we're giving for educational purposes only.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So always check with your legal team
Mhm,
about it, but get some kind of policy in place that helps you and your team have
mhm,
something in place. Like, what do we do for XYZ? And then that ties into also trainings. Now, I know that probably is like, oh, Ed, Tracy, I don't have time for training people. Like, I'm already doing 20 jobs and I just want to hire somebody and just magically they just do it. Well, in reality, that's not how it happens. Like, even when you
Mhm.
have the smartest, most talented person on your team, you still need to go through the proper training,
Yes.
especially when it comes to your security piece. So
Mhm.
invest in your people, invest in your technology, invest in your time. And I promise.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest component of it. When you talked about um, not wanting to train, I find that a lot of people are opposed to training people. They're like, hey, if I hired you to do XYZ, that you should already know how to do it. Well, everybody has different procedural steps to how they do things in their own business. So you still do have to take the time to train or have a procedures manual, an SOP, how things are done. But regardless, one way or the other, when it comes to technology and how you want that technology to be best used within your company, you're going to have to train, tell, show, have
Yes.
something written down. It doesn't matter, but you're going to have policies and procedures around technology, especially at the rate technology is moving, because
Yes.
you
Oh
do
my.
not want anyone to abuse the technology and then put your organization at risk, right? So, how do we use AI? How do we store
Yes.
information? What tools are we using? All of those things are going to become important to securing, because we talked about cybersecurity, right? To
Yeah.
securing the data. Because if you're a nonprofit, you have very sensitive data that is about the people that you're serving. You have pictures, you have birthdays, you may have driver's license, social security numbers, all of these
Yes.
things, and you want to make sure that they're secure, especially when you are dealing not only with staff that you're paying, but you have volunteers that are coming in as well, and you may even have collaboration and partnerships with other companies. How are you going to share that data in the most secure way to make sure that you're not compromising people's information?
Yes, and you brought up such a great with lots of great points, but one that stood
Mhm.
out the most was that procedures, that SOP, right? Like,
Mhm.
having a document that you keep track of all the things that you're talking about and doing, right?
Right.
Because everything changes so quickly,
Mhm.
and you want to have a spot that you can just say, okay, I'm overwhelmed. It's documented somewhere. It's in this document. I'm going to open that up and boom. Here's the team members. Here's where
Mhm.
we put our passwords. Here's the policy for cybersecurity. Here's what
Mhm.
we do when we're using AI. Like, it doesn't have to look fancy. You don't need to have
Mhm.
anything graphically done. Like, literally a Word document with bullet points and titles is going to be fine.
Mhm. Yeah. And even what policies about what links you can and cannot click on when
Mm,
opening emails, right?
yes.
That is a big one. How do you, because there are some companies you cannot click on any link within an email, right?
Mhm.
You have to take it out of the email, copy it, and put it into, sometimes they even tell you you have to go into hidden, what is it
Oh,
called?
incognito browser.
Yes, incognito mode in
Mhm.
order to open the email, to open
Yeah.
that specific link, right?
Yeah.
Or unless it comes from a trusted party, you just can't open it at all. So
Yeah.
these are things that you have to think about when it comes around, when it pertains
Absolutely.
to data and cybersecurity threats as
Yes,
well.
and you
So,
brought up a great, note about the links, right? Especially when it comes to email, because hackers, the spammers, they're getting so good that even
get
sometimes I'm like,
crafty.
"Whoa." I'm like, "That looks like a real legit email from
Yeah.
Apple or PayPal," like, or
Mhm.
UPS, like, even the
Mhm.
text messages, right? So,
Yes.
understand that you don't want to, yes, you're in a hurry, yes, you're busy and you're doing all the things. Slow down though when you see something and it feels a little off, and
Mhm.
also don't be so quick to click on something. First look at, does the email make sense, because
Mhm.
typically they don't make sense. Are
Right.
you expecting, for example, an invoice from PayPal,
Mhm.
right? Are you looking at the from address, not just the one
Mm.
that shows up
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
click on it, the
Mhm.
from address, it will reveal the actual email address. And
Yeah.
typically, you'll see it is not a real email address that's from that company. For example,
Yeah.
at paypal.com. It would be
Mhm.
maybe at paypal-m251.com or something. Like,
Yeah, they're very
that's
crafty with it. So
hard.
you have to be very cognizant of that. Sometimes I even just take the email and I put it in a search engine. I was like, is this a valid Facebook email? Is this a valid Amazon email? Because sometimes it's so good, you cannot even tell, right?
Right.
Just sometimes it's just a period that
Yes,
separates the true email from the fake email. So yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Keep an eye on that stuff
Hmm. Hmm.
for sure.
Here's another one. What are the best practices for training staff to adopt new technology tools?
Oh, such a good one. First
We
off,
kind of
I'm
touched on it before,
yeah,
but yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm glad that somebody's asking that. That means that
Hmm.
they already know what we talked about with making
Hmm.
time for the training. Um,
Yeah.
but it really does come down to having a plan in place. So
Hmm.
let's just back it up to you just started your organization. So even if you've had your organization forever and you have a team, of more than two people, that's fine. This
Hmm.
still applies. But let's just back it up to you just started your organization. Now you have to make note of the things that you're doing
Hmm.
and what you want to hand off to somebody. This goes back
Yes.
to documenting your steps, your
Hmm.
procedures. That means that now, when you bring someone on, you have the training manual,
Hmm.
and now all you have to do is dedicate some time to it.
Hmm.
So, again, it doesn't matter if you're new or you've been in business for a long time. Notice I also say business, yes, you may be a nonprofit, but you need to run
We
it like a
still a
business
business.
because it's a
Exactly.
business. So just want to clear that up for
Yeah.
people who are like, I hear business, but I'm a nonprofit. No, you are a business
Mhm.
if you want to
Yeah,
survive.
you're a business.
Um,
Yeah, I really like that. You do need to have those SOPs. You need to have those training manuals, but you also need to understand that they're fluid documents. So you
Absolutely.
don't create them once and then you never touch them again. They're constantly changing as things are changing. And one of the things that you need to really have in those training manuals or in your trainings, period, again, is ethical issues as it relates to AI. That
Yeah.
is so important right now because people could be using AI recklessly within your organization. They need to be able to determine, you need to sit down with your technology consultant. That person doesn't have to be within your organization. It could be somebody that you hire, like Ed or my company or whomever, and determine which tools, which AI tools, based on what your needs are the best tools for your organization. Not all AI tools are created equally, and not all AI terms and conditions are created equally. And a lot of us, me included sometimes, we don't read the fine print. We just want to use the tool, right? We just really want to use the tool and we're not reading the fine print. One of the things I have learned how to do is to read the fine print, especially if my face is involved, right?
Mm,
How am I giving you carte blanche to do whatever you want to do with my image? Like, stuff like that. Are they going to be using the information given to the AI tool as part of their training? So that means you're giving up some of your own intellectual property. You have to make sure that the tool that you're using is not going to be training on the information that you're giving to it. So that's something that you need to think about as well when you're adopting new
yes.
AI tools.
And on that too, create a positive learning environment, right? Like
Hmm.
again, the more open you are in your organization to having people ask you questions and encouraging them to ask you questions and encouraging
Hmm.
them to learn and to
Yeah.
improve what you've already laid out. That is going to make a huge difference in your organization. People are going to be happier. You're going to
Hmm.
streamline more, which means you're going to be more efficient. And yes, in the moment, it might feel like you're wasting time because you're
Yeah.
like, I have to stop to deal with this. But I
Hmm.
promise you, it's not wasting time. You're investing in your future and the
Yeah.
future of your people. And it's just going to build a better organization.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I agree with that. I do. The next question is, what resources are available to help us develop a comprehensive technology plan?
Mm, so good. So
Hmm.
leverage any industry guides that you might have, right? Like look at what industry you're in, what guides are out there.
Hmm.
That's why I love when I'm working with my real estate agents, or
Hmm.
anybody in real estate, because real estate has so much data and guides and statistics, like all of the things readily available
Yes.
everywhere you go. So
Hmm.
it's amazing.
And nonprofit does too. There are a lot of sources that they can utilize for nonprofit data. Um, you just have to find it, right? So
Right.
N10, so that's NTEN, is one that you can utilize for nonprofit data. They have around technology. They have some really good things, and you can talk to other people that are peers to find out what they're doing. So it's a lot of it too, and then you can find technology consultants as well. So there are some things that you can do around the planning for getting your comprehensive plan together. But the one thing I will tell you is find a technology consultant and
Yes.
sit with them and talk about what your technology needs are. Oh, I remember what I was going to say earlier, is that we can't be afraid of technology. We can't be afraid of the
Yes.
changes that are coming with technology. We cannot be our grandparents.
Right.
You cannot. We cannot. You
Exactly.
can't be sitting in your chair going, "Oh, darling, can you show me how to use this book face?" No, we don't want to do that, right? We have
Right.
businesses to run.
Yes.
Yeah, we have businesses to run, and in order to run your business efficiently and effectively in this day and age, you don't have to be a technology wizard, but you
No.
have to be technology literate.
Yes.
Okay.
Be
So it
willing to
goes
ask
back to what I
questions.
talked about in the beginning, people being afraid of using even something as simple as LastPass to share their logins. You cannot be afraid of the technology.
No, and ask questions. Like,
Hmm.
that's the biggest thing, when it comes to technology and marketing and, running our businesses, it that's the best thing you can do, is ask questions. If you
Yeah.
don't know, or if you're scared to do something, ask the question. There are no
Hmm.
dumb questions. And
Right.
if you're working with someone who sees that differently, then that's probably not a good fit for you, because you need someone who's
Right.
who's going to say, there are no dumb questions. Ask
Hmm.
me anything, because
Hmm.
that's why we're here. We're here to learn and grow together and be
Hmm.
more effective and efficient in this world to make a greater impact.
Right. And I mean, you can see the thing scrolling at the bottom where it says nonprofit tech workshops. That is a set of 6 workshops that Ed and I are putting together for nonprofits who really want to up level their technology within their nonprofit. I don't have the list directly in front of me. I don't know if you could pull it up, Ed, and tell them the
It's
name of the six
yeah.
classes. But those are 6 classes that we're going to have. We're going to start May 7th and it's going to run for 6 weeks. And we're going to be going through various aspects of tech. One of the things that we're going to give you, because we just talked about it, so I remembered to say it, is that we can give you a tech impact technology plan toolkit in the course, right? So that will show you how to exactly plan out your tech and create those SOPs for your nonprofit within this course as well. So if you are interested, and it's everything we do is priced for the times that we're in, right?
Yes.
Yes, because we want to take that into consideration. You can visit that website, Nonprofit Tech Workshops, and see what we have to offer and sign up. And we do include afterpay as well because we
Yeah.
know what times we're
Absolutely.
in. But
Yeah.
because we are in a economic downturn does not mean that you don't still have to spend money for what it is that you need. And
Yeah.
technology is moving quickly, and you need to make sure you're staying up with it. So I'd go ahead and tell them what we're offering.
Yeah. So, just to give you guys a quick overview of the topics we're going to be talking about, is optimizing operations with essential nonprofit tools. So you can learn
Mhm.
more about leveraging CRMs, project management tools, If you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this is, Ed, well, that's why you need to sign up for the workshops. Um, Grow your reach with smart email strategies. So email is not dead. Email is very effective, and it can definitely bring in lots and lots of money,
Absolutely.
support, and people to your events. So,
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. Another one is efficiency unleashed through strategic automation. So we'll be talking about how you can start saving
Mm,
time and money using automation. Even if that's scary to you right now, we can break that down to make it easier for you, because
mhm.
this is where it helps you have a little more hands-off approach in certain places in your business, aka your nonprofit. Uh, just have to always restate that. Another
Yeah.
one is going to be harnessing AI for transforming your fundraising. So,
Mhm,
how can you leverage the new technology, AI, which is artificial intelligence, to really start crafting better fundraising campaigns and
mhm.
figure out like what works and what doesn't without spending hours or days or even thousands of dollars trying to figure that out on your own?
Right.
Um, and then we have tech solutions with a full-time commitment. So helping you understand more about outsourcing and what that might look like and how to protect your data. And then finally, also digital marketing, what you can do to help you move that needle forward
Mhm,
using today's technology and marketing efforts that are easy for you to implement. Like, we're not talking about complicated sales funnels here. We're talking about easy and effective ways that you can start using in your nonprofit to be able to get information out there and bring in the right people.
mhm. And we're not just going to leave you after we do all of these 6
Right.
workshops. We're not gonna just it's not a one and done. We're actually gonna stay with you. I think what is it? 3 months? Am
We
I
have,
wrong?
let me double check. We'll have the full
Office
workshop
hours.
series. Yep. We'll have the 6 months of replay access so
Mhm.
people can do that. And then we have the 30 days of office hours for extra
Okay.
support. Yep.
Yeah. So 30 days of office hours. So if you need help with implementation, you need us to get on live and show you how to actually work a particular tool. All of that will be included in the 6 workshops. So you can choose to buy one workshop, you can choose to buy 3 workshops, or you can choose to buy all 6 workshops. So just go to the link, like I said, at the scrolling at the bottom of the screen and sign up.
Yeah.
Okay. And we do include some handouts if needed for that particular workshop as well.
Yep.
Um, Here's another question. What steps can I take to integrate AI responsibly into our programs? And I think we keep talking about some of these things, but
Yeah.
singular question, more in depth.
Yeah. So it
So,
really comes back to that piece, like you were talking about earlier, where understanding what is the policy that you have and what
mhm,
information do you not want to share? That's probably
mhm,
easier to answer for most people than what
yeah.
information do you want to
Do
share,
you
right?
want to share? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make a list of what you don't want to have shared. For example,
Mhm.
sensitive information like social security numbers, people's contact details, like
Right.
those things you probably don't need to be sharing in your
Mhm.
AI journey.
Mhm, mhm. And when it comes to what can you use AI responsible for in your programs, I would say data analysis. It's really, really, really good for data analysis because most people don't understand how data analysis works. AI can help you to deduce a lot of that information and put it into charts and graphs and tables and all of that stuff for you
Yeah.
once you give it the right information. Remember, garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
Um, but
So
it's
true.
true, garbage in, garbage out. So a lot of people think they know how to use Chat GPT, like I say all the time, but you really don't. You're not even maximizing it, even a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and it's also good for donor engagement as well, right? How to engage your donors, segmenting your donors. That's a big thing. Being able to segment your donors so you're sending out different correspondence for each donor. One of the good things about AI, in a way, is that if you're not a good writer, it can make you a decent enough writer, right? So
Yeah.
you can put in whatever you have with your mispronunciations, your misspellings, your bad punctuations and your splice sentences and commas and whatever else, and it can bring out something that's pretty cohesive. But again, if you're not able to prompt it correctly, if you give it garbage, it's going to give you garbage back. So you have to be very specific with what it is that you want it to do, how you want it to act, and you're expecting the outcome to look like. So yeah.
And also keep in mind that whatever you get back isn't 100% accurate. Like there's typically, it's pretty good, 70-80% accurate, but just know that it's not like this magical wand that poof, everything is going to be done in 30 seconds or less, and that's what you run with. Like use
Yeah.
this as a creative tool to help
Thank
support
you.
your organization.
Yes. A lot of people think that ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, whatever you're using, that it's a magic wand.
Yeah.
You don't know how many times that someone will say to me, "Oh, why should I engage you for that? Because I can just use ChatGPT." And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, go on and use ChatGPT,
Yeah.
because what you're getting is not even compatible to what I would give you. Like, we just had someone who used ChatGPT to create a strategic plan. And then I asked them to tell me what the strategic plan says. Like, what are they going to do? And because they weren't clear with ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
and had parameters and knew exactly what needed to be put in ChatGPT, what they got back was just as confusing as the thoughts in their head.
Yes.
Sometimes you need somebody to help you to clarify. And that's why consultants are not going to go anywhere. That's
Yeah.
why psychologists won't go anywhere either. Chat GPT is a tool. It's an assistive device. It's a creative tool. It is not a replacement for what's here in your own brain or what someone else, someone who has studied and has a deep experience in a particular area can do. I am not negating it because I own a technology company,
Yeah.
but I am just telling you that I know enough about large language learning models to tell you it is not a replacement for everything. It's a
Right.
great tool in a tight space, but you still have to learn. You have to know the information yourself, because
Yes.
I have seen ChatGPT and other large language models hallucinate. And that's a nice word to use.
Yes.
Hallucinate on many occasions. The information is just not accurate.
Right. And when you're already at being the business owner or the team member that got assigned this role,
Mhm,
when you're already stressed out and feeling like there's so much chaos going on and you're overwhelmed with all the information,
mhm.
adding ChatGPT or any kind of AI tool is not going to, again, help clear that all up for you. You
No,
still
it's not.
need a human interaction with a consultant, like we're talking about, to
Mhm.
help bring those down. Because I've had clients too where they're like, I am so glad that we had this conversation because
Yeah.
I was going crazy and spending hours with ChatGPT for you to tell me in 5 minutes what I needed to know. Like,
Exactly.
that's what we're
Because
talking
if
about
you
here.
don't know the right question to ask, it's not going to give you the right answer. And
Yes.
I can deduce quicker from you what it is that you really are looking for, because I have the experience and the knowledge, right? Because I've dealt with hundreds, probably thousands of people like you before, and I can give you the answer in 2.2 seconds.
Yes.
Again, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have the right verbiage to ask the right question, you're not going to get the right response,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
So there
So
are
true.
nuances that ChatGPT and other large language models just, they're not refined enough at this point to do the whole job.
Yeah.
So use them, but use them wisely.
Yeah. And that also
Yeah.
ties in a little bit to well, we've kind of touched on it before, but just to tie it into this piece too, is you, the head of the organization, might not be in charge of this role or this task,
Correct.
right? So that goes
Mhm,
back to you documenting who does what, who's on the
mhm,
team, what's a good use of their skill set, right?
mhm.
And this ties back to what we talked about, investing in your people. making
Right.
time for meetings,
Hmm.
meetings that count, right? Like
Yes.
actual meetings that
Productive
are
meetings.
productive, right? Like
Yeah.
understand who's on the team, where they really excel, and how you can
Hmm.
leverage that and be able to then put them, somebody, for example, on the AI part. Like,
Hmm.
here, your role is to work on the AI stuff. So anytime we have
Hmm.
AI stuff, here's the policy of what
Hmm.
to do and not to do. You're in charge. We want
Yeah.
everything going through you. That makes
Hmm.
it more streamlined and easier for you to keep track of who does what, where any
Hmm.
loopholes might be, and where any trouble might happen, right? And then you can snap your fingers and be able to fix that quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big one. Don't,
And one of the things that
yeah,
people may ask in reference to what you just said is, okay, you're talking about managing the team. How do we do that with technology, right?
mm,
There's so many tools out there that you can use to manage your team, project management tools. Some are
yes,
easier than others.
yeah,
And some are more expensive than others. Okay. So, again, you have to figure out which project management tool works best. Like we use Notion. I've
mhm,
used Asana, I've used Monday.com, I've used Trello, and I have used ClickUp. I
love
prefer Notion.
Yeah, and see, and I love ClickUp, but then also
Yeah.
most of the clients love
Uh-huh.
Trello. So you can
Uh-huh.
see that it's okay. We all like different things, and
Yeah.
it's important
Hmm.
to find what works for you,
What works
and
for you?
it has to be
And
visually pleasing.
especially if you're going to be doing a lot of integrations,
Yes.
automations and integrations, you have to make sure that the project management tool that you choose has the ability to integrate with a lot of other tools,
Yeah.
and that it easily can help you with your automation processes as well.
Yep. And for those who maybe don't know, I always have to teach. If you don't know integration, basically that's connecting the dots. We
Yes.
say one program wants to talk to this one,
Mhm.
there's an
Yeah.
integration, so it connects the two.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Integration and automations. And
Mhm.
automations are really good for helping you to streamline your systems and processes as well. Um, Both Ed and I like Make for automations because of just the face of it. The visuals are on point when it
Yeah.
comes to Make, but Zapier is by far easier to use.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, there's we're throwing a lot at you, and
Yes.
it's stuff that might go over your head, but at least the
Hmm.
seed has been planted, and at
Hmm.
least now even if you don't sign up for the workshops, which
Hmm.
you should, but if you
Yes,
don't,
you
you at
should.
least
You
yeah, at
should
least you
definitely
have
sign up for the workshops,
right, at least
right?
now you
All
have
of
a
these things,
better
we break them down in the workshop. We
yeah.
really take the time to go through them with you in the workshops. Yes.
Exactly, and so sign up for that, but even if you don't, at least you
Hmm.
have this live for a short amount of time, because if you're on Facebook, it deletes after
Yeah.
30 days now. But and maybe you didn't know that, right? So that's another thing, just to tap on that for a second. As an organization, maybe you leverage Facebook a lot, and maybe you've been dipping your toes into Facebook Live.
Hmm.
Well, if you didn't know, recently they did this big update that your live streaming videos will be deleted after 30 days. So
See,
you,
I didn't even know that. I
yes,
went tried to go live for the first time on Facebook because I usually go through StreamYard like I am now. So I
right.
haven't gone live on Facebook through the back end of Facebook in over a year.
See, yes.
Okay. And I tried yesterday and I had to scratch my head. So part of my job today is to learn how to go live on Facebook and add people to my live on Facebook
Yeah.
because the system back end has gotten so complicated
Mhm.
versus how it used to be. And because I have StreamYard, like I said, there's no need for me to go live natively on
Right.
Facebook anymore, but I needed to do something in my group because StreamYard doesn't connect to groups.
Right.
And I was like, wait, what is happening here?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's the thing. And
And I'm
so
gonna make a video about a training video about it because I know if I'm having the problem, someone else is having the problem as well. Mhm.
exactly. And that's why it's important for you as the organization who's watching this to be in contact with people like us,
Mhm.
because you want to stay up to date on things and
Yes.
know like what you should and shouldn't be doing. And also
Mhm.
know, for example, Tracy's got this third-party program, StreamYard, which she's
Mhm.
using for her lives, right?
Mhm.
She doesn't have to worry about Facebook deleting the video on Facebook. Yes, it's going to get deleted, but
Mhm.
she has a copy of the video through this other program and
Yes.
on other platforms. This is
Mhm.
where we talk about the marketing piece and how you start to leverage different channels. You take the same content and leverage it on different channels so you don't have to worry so much about if and when something happens to that main channel. So again,
Mhm.
not to get too far in the weeds with all that stuff, but just understand like we're giving you a lot. You're going to walk away today feeling overwhelmed. Pick one thing. Chances are the one thing is LastPass, and the second thing
Yes.
would be sign up for the workshops. And then the
Yes.
third thing is show up for the workshops. So then that
Mhm.
way you
Mhm.
actually can implement what you learned and
Mhm.
not feel so overwhelmed and actually
Right.
make
And
a
again,
difference.
with the workshops, we have office hours. So we're not just going to teach you the information within the workshops and let you be. We're going to be able to support you if you want us to be able to support you and teach you, walk you through a process that you do not understand. So it
Absolutely.
is a bang for your value, bang for your money, whichever one you want to say. But yes, definitely do go ahead, sign up for the workshop. Again, it's nonprofit tech workshops. We have the bit.ly at the bottom. Go ahead, sign up for it. You can sign up again, one workshop, I think it's 149. Three workshops, you get a discount, and six workshops, you get another discount. We do accept credit cards, or you can use Afterpay if you cannot afford to pay for all of it at one time. And we do have, I think we're going to have a Facebook group, all right, that we're going to have people in.
We might. We're gonna
Yeah. Oh,
see
yeah, we
how
might.
that goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
have the office hours. That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Because we wanted to
So we
do
have
the
the office
office.
hours, so we'll do that like on Zoom,
Yeah,
and you can come in and whatever. And then after that, if we see that you need more support, we may create something else that we can continue to support you with. But
yeah,
for now, that's what we have. Ed is very knowledgeable, and so am I in the nonprofit industry and in the tech industry. Ed is very knowledgeable in the nonprofit industry as well. I mean, he's not a consultant, but he's worked with quite a few nonprofits in we're using technology because that's
yes,
his main thing, right?
yeah,
So you'll be learning from the best.
yeah,
So if you really want to up your technology game, and again, everything is moving so quickly right now, and you want to set your nonprofit up for the best success possible, you want to come in and do those workshops with us.
absolutely. I
So,
mean, at the end of the day, you already got a taste of what we do, how we are, and
yes.
the vibe check is either yes or no, right?
I
At this
know,
point,
right?
like it
Yeah.
is what it is. But just know that
Uh-huh.
if you're trying to truly make a difference in 2025 and you're truly wanting to escape the never-ending rat race of the tech and the
Mhm.
marketing and being able to feel a little calmer in your day-to-day, then you're going to want to sign up for the workshops because
Yes.
again, it's not just us teaching, but you
Mhm.
actually get direct access to us. And trust me, like you're not going to get this anywhere else, especially not at the prices that we've done for this specific
No. No.
workshop. So check out the
Mhm.
website, even if you are maybe on the fence, or maybe you're like, it's not for me, but I know somebody who it is for. Share that
Yes.
with them because this is
Yep.
the
And
first time
I'm
we've
just
done
about to
this.
say that. Yep. Share.
Yeah, it's the first time
Yes.
we've done this, and
Mhm.
for specifically for nonprofits, and so it's a
Mhm.
huge opportunity for you to take advantage of during this time.
Absolutely. All
Yeah.
right. Leave us some comments below. Share out this live to other people as
Yes.
well. Because sharing is caring and it doesn't cost you anything to share this with somebody. It doesn't
True.
cost you. You know the best part of marketing, right? Because all of this, we talk about marketing in the one of the workshops or two of the workshops as well, because technology is in marketing as well. But the
Absolutely.
best part, the best type of marketing is word of mouth. So tell
Absolutely.
somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody else and let
Ooh, I love
people
that.
know that we have this going on. It's one of the most affordable ways for nonprofit to get the information that they need around technology and how to utilize technology effectively in their nonprofits to help them to scale. So,
Yes.
thank you for joining us. We'll
Thank you.
decide if we're going to come back on and do another free Q&A. But we did enjoy this. If you have questions, Ed will be looking at the comment section. So will I, and we can interact with you there. But please do go to the website, bit.ly nonprofit tech workshops, and check out what we have going on and sign up. Again, the series starts on May 7th, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken, and it
Mhm.
runs for 6 weeks. So one workshop per week. You can choose one workshop, 3 workshops, or all 6 workshops. So hope to see you again. Bye, everyone.
Take care.